Hi, I'm Patrick Sullivan, and welcome to Recurring Insight. I'll be talking about Birds of Paradise, which is dope. It's like $10 and printed like a million times, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Patrick Sullivan, and this is Recurring Insight. For this episode, I'm going to be talking about Birds of Paradise, which, unlike basically any other card I've done up until this point, is just an unambiguous banger. Printed in alpha, reprinted a million times, competitive and casual staple, and something with just a ton of very different positive game design elements. So sit back and enjoy. Birds of Paradise is a beloved design, and I think, if memory serves, it's been reprinted more than any other rare in Magic's history, at least through sort of the core releases, and for good reason. First of all, it's very cool for Green's color pie. Green is supposed to be about mana fixing, and Birds of Paradise is a really powerful 5-color fixer, and also Green's supposed to be about creatures. All the colors are about creatures now to varying degrees and in varying ways. But green is supposed to be kind of the loudest or second loudest creatures matter color. So to give them a 5-color fixer through a creature is really cool, because it kind of double stacks on the color pie stuff to give them something really in color pie through a creature. Birds of Paradise is an extremely high variance design. Birds of Paradise in your opening hand is so potent. It's such a huge burst of mana and fixing. And typically on turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, it's about as good as drawing a land, sometimes even worse than that. But it's still playing inside of sort of the core conceits of Magic's game engine. And even though it's powerful in your opening hand, it's not deterministic. You still have to draw stuff that goes along with it. Now, that's not the biggest asks necessarily, but it's not like you have this massive deterministic advantage in the same way that something like Ancestral Visions or some other source of card advantage can give you on the first turn. It's a high variance design without feeling like a high variance design in the worst ways. A 0/1 flyer is a very interesting game piece. It's something that sometimes you want to put enchantments on. Sometimes the texture of combat is different with that as a chump blocker, but it never trades off unless you're doing some sort of work. Lastly, there's an interesting little bit of the color pie here in that green really doesn't do flying. And you could execute it by just having a hard and fast rule. We don't give green flyers. But I would say in alpha, the fact that flying in green exists in script sprites and Birds of Paradise is more powerful in demonstrating how green engages with flying than them having no flyers whatsoever. They get these sort of dorky flyers, whereas white and blue and black and red even get the lion's share of the flyers that are about brawling. Green has nothing like that in alpha, but you get a better sense of how green engages with flying in that set by the presence of a few sort of rinky dorky flyers than you would if green had no flying whatsoever. You would just not even notice it. But giving those sorts of game pieces and contrasting them with things like Sarah Angel and Sanger Vampire is a really powerful expression of how green engages with flying early on in the game's history. So that was Birds of Paradise, and this is Recurring Insight. A couple things you can do from here. Subscribe to the Star City Games YouTube page if you haven't already, and throw a like up on this video. And you can also throw a comment on the page if there's a card you're interested in, or if you just want to leave up some dumbass remark and get eviscerated like the last dude did, I might indulge that with a response too. So till next time.